guys, and welcome to this video, this incredibly late video, but here we are, better late than never. But this is my top 10 movies of 2018. I watched a lot of movies. I don't think I actually counted up how many movies I watched. You know what, I will add them up and I'll just put the number here on the screen so you can see how many I watched. That's the number right there. It's a lot. So it was incredibly hard coming up with this top 10. Oh my god, I had so many difficulties with the movie top 10. I kept changing it. Like, I still, even before this video, like, I was changing it because I just, oh my god. Anyway, here are my top 10. I have solidified it. This is it. The one you were watching. We are going to start with my honorable mentions. So here they are. The ones that I really wanted to be in my top 10 but didn't quite make it. So we have Anna and the Apocalypse, Isle of Dogs, Instant Family, A Star is Born, The Greatest Showman. So next I want to tell you what my guilty pleasure movie of the year was, because I also do watch a lot of like bad movies, but yet I also love bad movies sometimes. So I want to share with you like my guilty pleasure of the year. And that is definitely zombies. I watched this movie 3-4 times in 2018. This is a Disney Channel original movie. And this like takes place in a world where there are zombies and humans, but like the zombies have, what is the word I'm looking for? They're not like scary zombies. They're like super nice zombies. They just happen to be zombies. But the government has like separated humans and the zombies, obviously. But this is the year where they integrate the school and they have some zombies go to like the human school, and one of the humans and one of the zombies fall in love. It's super cute and the music is so catchy. Like, ugh. The best thing about this movie though is the choreography. Like, I will say the choreography is absolutely incredible. The acting is definitely over the top. It is Disney. It's not the best writing either, but I have so much fun watching this movie. So hence why it's a guilty pleasure. At number 10, we have Game Night. This was so freaking funny. I had such a blast watching this movie. I watched it 2 times in theaters, and then I want to say like 4 or 5 times out of theaters. Like, I watched this movie a lot. This is just a comedy with Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, why can I never remember his name, but Winston from New Girl, a bunch of people. This group of friends, they, like once a week, they play a game night, and this one week, the one guy's brother decides to take over game night because he's in town and he just like wants to be friends with them. But he's like super rich, not a great guy. His game night gets interrupted by some people trying to kill him, and they kidnap him. And so like the group of friends are like, oh, so this must be the game. We have to go and try and find him. Like, cool, wow, this is really well acted, so realistic. Like, they just get into it. And then they end up actually having to try and save his life because it ended up being real. But it is a hysterical movie and I needed it to be in my top 10 somewhere. So I put it at number 10. Number 9, I have Green Book. This is an Oscar-nominated movie. I think by the time this is up, the Oscars have happened. But filming it, I don't know who the winner is yet. But this is nominated. And it's so good. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna say that about every movie, so just be prepared for me to be like, it's so good. This is based off of a true story about a white guy and a black guy in, I want to say it's the 60s or the 50s. I think it's the 50s. I cannot remember characters' names, so bear with me. The white guy ends up taking a job driving the black guy, who's like a famous piano player, all through the Deep South, and is kind of like his bodyguard as well. Gotta protect him from the racists. But they end up creating this like beautiful friendship, and it's just about them learning about the world, but also learning about themselves and about each other, and it's just truly phenomenal. It's so well acted, so well written. I really don't know what else to say about this movie. It was so good. I do, by the way, have like reviews of all these movies in my wrap-ups. I can link them down below, which ones these are in, so you can actually see more in-depth reviews, because right now I am like blanking on everything and I'm in such a hurry to finish these videos. But yeah, so Green Book, number 9, really great. At number 8, I have Bohemian Rhapsody. This is another movie that is nominated for an Oscar. You're gonna see I do have a couple of Oscar nominees on this list. Actually, I think there's only one more on this list. I really loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I was surprised because I went in not really knowing what to expect, because I had heard bad reviews and I had heard good reviews. Like, it was very mixed, the reviews. But I'm so happy that I walked out absolutely loving this movie. It follows Freddie Mercury, who is Queen. You know the songs by Queen. But it follows Freddie Mercury, and it follows how he came to be Queen, and just his life, his whole life, and the story about him and his band too, and like his love life you follow. Like, you just follow a lot about him. And Rami Malek, I will be surprised if he does not win an Oscar for his role in this movie, because he did such a phenomenal job playing Freddie Mercury. I was just so blown away by his acting. And just everyone's acting in this movie was spot on. And I loved how the ending, I'm not like spoiling much of the ending, but like, I love how the whole end of the movie was just legit the concert from Live Aid. And it was so fun. I was like dancing in the seat, and I cried, I laughed. Did I laugh? I can't remember if I laughed now. Maybe I didn't laugh. But I definitely felt for this movie, and I loved it. At number 7, I have The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. This was a Netflix film that came out in 2018, and it's starring, what's her name? Oh my god, why can I'm just blanking on everyone's names today. But she's from Mamma Mia, she's from Downton Abbey, she's from Cinderella, she's from a lot of stuff, and she's in this movie, and she was great. This movie is based off of a book. I don't really plan on reading the book, because I hear the book actually isn't that great, but the movie is just incredible. It is about this woman. She is a writer. She's become a popular writer in, I want to say it's the 30s? Or the 40s. I want to say like right after World War II, or like towards the end of World War II. And she's living in London, and she finds out about this Potato Peel Pie Society, which is a book club in like the outskirts of Ireland, or like one of like the small little islands of Ireland, around Ireland. And she ends up going, and she learns how this book club came to be, why it's called the Potato Peel Pie Society, and there's some romance in there, but there's also surprisingly a good mystery involved with this movie as well, trying to figure out what happened to a certain person. I don't want to give too much away. I just thought it was so well acted. The story was told very well, but my favorite part about this movie was definitely the production value, like the production design, the background, the landscape, the sets, like that all just was so beautiful. Like, it was dirty and disgusting, but yet so beautiful at the same time, because like most of these people are living in poverty. But it is just, it's a beautiful story. I cried. I watched it like 3 times this year. As you can tell, a lot of the movies I watched that are in my top 10, I watched like multiple times. Number 6, I have Love, Simon. This would have been number 1 if I hadn't watched these other 5 movies. But I watched this movie 4 times in the theaters. Like, within 1 month I watched it 4 times. And then I watched it maybe like 10 times once I got it on Blu-ray. I watched this movie a lot. This is, oh my god, I'm in love with this movie. Another one that's based off of a book that I've read that I actually have right here. Here we go, it's right here. Based off of this book, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. It's a favorite of mine. It's about this guy, Simon, who is gay, but he's in the closet. He's not out yet. But he finds this guy online. They become pen pals. and they talk about how they're both in the closet and they both go to like the same school. So he's like falling in love with this guy, but he has no idea who it is. And then some other character in the movie decides to blackmail him because he finds the emails and basically threatens Simon. He's gonna like reveal to the whole school these emails unless Simon helps him get with the girl. It's like a coming of age story, but it's also a coming to terms with who he is, sexuality wise. But it's also about friendship, and it's about love, and it's just about a lot of things, and it's so good. Acting was really good, surprisingly, because like I hadn't heard a lot of the actors that were in the movie. I hadn't really heard of them, but they did such a great job. And the ones I had heard of did a great job, even though I've seen them in other stuff and they were like okay in the other stuff. But yeah, no, the acting was really well done. I thought they portrayed the characters very well. I thought the writing was done very well. Like the story in general is just incredible, and I just really loved this movie a lot. At number 5, I have 3 Identical Strangers. This is a documentary. This is also not the only documentary on my list. There is another one coming up. But I don't normally watch documentaries, but this documentary, just wow. Obviously, since it's a documentary, it's a true story. But we follow these 3 guys and their story. They are triplets, but they were all adopted into different families, so they never knew the other one existed until they like go to college and they're like, wait a minute, you look very similar to me. And then they find out they're related, and then it kind of causes to be like, well, why did this happen? Why were they separated? And you start seeing like this conspiracy theory that's involved with this, and it's a fascinating story, and the more you watch it, like the darker and darker and darker it gets. It is just a truly fascinating documentary that you don't expect where it's going to go, and it goes somewhere that you were just like, wait, what? So it gets super dark, so be prepared for like a dark story, even though it starts off very lighthearted. It was just so well edited too. Like this was just really great editing for a documentary, and they told it in such a way to make it a huge shocker. So I really loved this movie a lot. Obviously, it's in my top 5. It's at number 5. At number 4, I have BlacKkKlansman. I'm not a huge fan of Spike Lee, but I was really fascinated by this story, so I decided to watch it. Spike Lee was the director, by the way, in case you don't know. But yeah, so I haven't really been a huge fan of most of his movies. I've only really watched, I think, 4 of them, but they've been like okay for me. Like I've never truly like loved them. I've been like, all right, they're fine. This one though, loved it. I'm so happy it's nominated for an Oscar. This is also based off of a true story about a black guy who becomes the first, I think, like black detective in Georgia. Oh my god, this is taking place in Georgia. It takes place in the 50s or the 60s. It takes place in the 60s. And so yeah, he's the first black like detective or first black cop or something like that. Sorry, it's actually been a little while since I've seen it. And he gets partnered with one of the white detectives, who is played by Adam Driver, who I am in love with now. They both team up to take down the Ku Klux Klan, basically. They like infiltrate themselves with the, like the president of the Ku Klux Klan, who is played by, oh my god, I can't remember people's names today. I'm sorry, but he is like one of my favorites. I love watching him in movies. He was really great as the president of the Ku Klux Klan. He did a great job acting. But no, this was just so well directed, well acted, well told. Like the story was just told very well. Overall, it was just a fantastic movie. And it was shot so well. Oh my god, it was shot so well. Like the cinematography and the use of colors was just so good. And there was one scene too, the editing of it. Oh my god, they did so well editing that scene. Number 3 is the other documentary, and that is Won't You Be My Neighbor. This is a documentary about Mr. Rogers. This documentary, oh, again, I'm not usually a documentary type person, but I watched a fair decent amount of documentaries this year, and I'm happy that 2 of them have made my list. It was edited so well, and it was told so well, and I feel like I'm saying that a lot about these movies, but this one was. There were so many things I did not know about Mr. Rogers. We needed a movie that was just wholesome and good and about a man who did good things, tackled very hard, difficult topics in his show, but like in a very fun and friendly way. This was just definitely a movie that we needed around this time now to remind us that there are good people in the world and there is good in the world, and we can help make the world a better place. Like, we can do it without having to be like horrible people to do it. And I loved, okay, my favorite part about this movie too is definitely the ending, where they just asked, I don't want to like spoil it too much, but they asked every person they interviewed like a specific question, and they also kind of ask you, the audience, that question. And so I was just like sitting there answering the question in my own head, but also listening to like their answers to the question, and I just like started sobbing, and it like truly made me think. And you see like the people's reactions too, like they just started crying. It definitely touches you right here in the heart. It is a lot. That's why it's at number 3. It was so good. At number 2, I have American Animals. No surprise here. I loved this movie. I want to say this movie is like a mix between documentary and biopic. Like, it's so interesting the way this was told. This is based off a true story about these 4 guys in college. They try to pull off an art heist. That is essentially it. This is not a movie I typically like. I typically go for romantic comedies, which, by the way, this year I don't think I watched that many romantic comedies as I usually do, which is just surprising to me. I don't usually go for like crime movies. I don't like to watch those. But this one was really good. I think I also just liked it because of the way it was told. I've never seen a movie like this. So we see interviews with the actual guys that tried to pull off this art heist as like today, and they're like reflecting back on the time. And they're like, yeah, this and this happened and that happened and this is why we did that and like whatever. And then it was also told through like reenactment. So we had actors reenacting what they were saying. The acting was just so good. And I wish I could remember names, but the actor who played the one guy did such a fantastic job. His acting is incredible, and I want to watch him in like everything. So the acting was just really great, and I thought the cinematography was just beautiful, and like it was so sharp and so clear and so crisp. And then there was another way they told the story. There was like, and then there's also a little sprinkling of the real guys being interviewed interacting with the reenactment. Like, you would see them in the reenactments talking to the actors. Like, it was so cool. I thought overall, great movie. It blew me away. And then at number 1, we have, surprise, surprise, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I watched this movie, no joke, like not lying, I watched it 33 times this year. And it came out in August or July. I can't remember now. And I've watched it 33 times. And I'm still watching it. I tend to watch it now at least like once a month because I love it so much. This too is based off of a book. I liked the book. I didn't love the book, but I liked it. But this movie, loved it. We follow a girl. She's in high school. And she writes these like love letters to her crushes. But she writes them when she's kind of like getting over them. So that way it helps her get over her feelings for the guys. And she has written 5 of them. And then one day, all those letters get mysteriously sent out. And so all these boys are getting these letters, reading the letters, these like love letters that she wrote them that like she was never planning on having these guys see. And then one of them decides, like, hey, let's just be in a fake relationship to make my ex-girlfriend jealous so she'll take me back, kind of a thing. I love the fake girlfriend trope. It's one of my favorites in romantic comedies. And this was just not even, like, romantic comedy good, but, like, movie good. The acting was really great. I absolutely fell in love with Noah Centineo this year, the guy who played Peter Kavinsky. I'm so happy that they're having a sequel. I'm so happy with how this movie turned out. Like, I was a little nervous, but at the same time, like, so excited to see this story play out. The cinematography was definitely fantastic. I also really loved the soundtrack to this movie. I thought they did a phenomenal job with the music. The music really flowed and meshed well with the story, but it was also super funny, and I cried, I laughed, I felt so many emotions. This was so good. I've been, like, forcing everyone I know to watch this movie, and everyone has loved it. So I'm gonna force you to watch it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. I don't care if it's not your type of movie. I don't care. You are watching this, okay? You, person, watching this video right now, you are going to watch this movie on Netflix. That is my top 10 movies of the year. Hope you enjoyed. Please go also check out my top 10 books of 2018 and my top 10 TV shows of 2018. I also have listed down below every single movie that I watched in 2018 so you can know what I'm basing this list off of. So I will see you guys later with more videos. Bye!